This is DiamondArm. Let's look at a stock that is one of those classical fair trades. First off, read this disclaimer carefully. We are talking about Sturm, Ruger, and Company. As you can probably guess, they sell weapons. So pistols, revolvers, rifles. And we have seen a pickup in sales of weapons nowadays because people are really concerned. You know, the preppers, that have been ridiculed for a long time, they don't look that stupid anymore. And there's a lot of people who are now buying more weapons, and just basic people who just want some firearms for security reasons. Because if the virus really starts to spread very rapidly, you could actually have a breakdown in the key societal structures. And that could become a very turbulent time. So this is the super long-term picture for Ruger, going all the way back here actually to 1980. So within this entire time frame, we've had a very impressive gain here, 2,900%. So let's look at some previous bear markets. So here we have, let's actually go here to 1987. It almost is invisible, that crash. Let's go here to the dot-com bubble, one of the more famous ones. So you can see here, this is a bit interesting. You can see that, let's just get that one away. So you can see here that this stock actually went down quite early. But then it actually started to smooth out and rallied. So that's very interesting. Let's go to the financial crisis, the housing bubble. So you can see that Ruger, it did actually crash along with the other stocks. But the housing bubble and the dot-com bubble were not inherently bullish for Ruger. The current situation is quite a bit different. So let's zoom in to the more recent developments. So you can see here that this stock has basically been going sideways for how long? Let's measure. So let's say it's from here to here. Okay, so this is almost 3,000 days of sideways movement. That is abnormally long. So one charting theory would be that, given that we've gone sideways for such a long time, the breakout is just going to be that much more substantial. Given that the huge went around the corner, it is a bit binary. One thing would be a sharp spike in the spread of the virus. Unless Ruger, the stores get closed down, that would be, you would expect the sales to pick up drastically. Of course, if the stores are closed down, that would naturally be bearish. Another thing that would be bearish for Ruger, that's if there's a quick solution to this pandemic. Let's say that suddenly a vaccine comes on the market that actually works, and that also would be the demand for these weapons. The concern in the general public would then go down. You could make the case that this is forming a rounding top pattern. That is bearish. On the other hand, something we can see is that, let's actually compare this to the S&P 500. So let's go with the SPY. SPI, let's do this one. So let's zoom in a bit, like that. So you can see here, okay, here is the crash in the S&P 500. It's very dramatic, but it's not that super dramatic for Ruger. So let's remove S&P 500 and let's do some measurements. So if you measure this fall here, 18-ish percent fall. And this is, for a stock that was up, quite substantially. I mean, if you measure it since the beginning of the, like the low of the financial crisis to this high, Ruger was up almost 1,500%. So an 18% fall recently within that perspective, it's something quite different. So this is a very interesting stock for this current situation we have with the virus. I have to call it the virus. I can't use the actual name because then this video will just be pushed into the algorithmic wasteland. So the RSI, it's in the neutral zone, so there's nothing special here about the RSI. The average true range is picking up, but that's not to be expected. We have seen this, increase in volatility all over the place. You can see here that the statistical correlation between Sturm Ruger and S&P 500 is only 33%. Well, it actually is, interestingly, it is not 33%, it is, negative 33%. So there's a negative 33% correlation between Sturm Ruger and S&P 500. So that is quite interesting. Well, one of the highest correlations we had is way back here. That was an 88% positive. So the S&P 500 and Sturm Ruger almost moved 1-to-1. The lowest correlation we've had is around here. That was minus 51%. So also from a correlation perspective, there is not like a correlation between this stock and the S&P 500. So what happens to the S&P should not, as such, influence what you do with this stock. So yeah, very interesting. Though from a charting perspective, it's a bit of a tricky situation because what is really going to move this stock is what happens with the virus. That's the real factor. People are buying more guns now out of concern. But as I said, it is very binary. So if you are very bearish on the entire situation with the virus, that there's going to be massive spread, huge, societal turmoil, then Sturm Ruger looks rather promising. Let's now jump into the fundamentals. So here is Sachs.com, and this was not very informative. They actually do not have a Sachs rank on Ruger. They do not have a style scores either. That's strange. The industry rank, it's in the top 12%, but they call it leisure and recreation products. Not sure I agree at all with this industry category. It doesn't really make sense. I would call this something else. Of course, people are, shooting guns out as a form of recreation, but yeah, it's a bit different than, other recreational products. Because the key thing when you categorize a stock is really what is the motivation of the buyer, okay? That is really what determines it. So the market cap is $785 million US. So it is a rather big company, so I'm really surprised that they do not have a ranking. Maybe we can go a bit conspiratorial about it. Even. Why are they not ranking? It might, even be some kind of like corporate social responsibility. Maybe Sachs find it improper to rank a gun company. I have no idea. Political correctness. No PEG, no forward PE. You get paid dividend 1.6%. That's good. So it's one of the nation's leading manufacturers of rugged, reliable firearms for the commercial sporting market. And it's a full line manufacturer area. So they have, as we saw, they have guns. They also have rifles, which are, there's more controversy about. They have like AR here. AR, this one looks, a bit more military, but they have also these kinds of weapons. And the prepping community in general now, they are having the time of their life. So there's a lot of those guys that are telling people to buy canned food, buy guns, ammunition, buy gold, precious metals. Yes. So for these times, I would seriously look at Sturm, Ruger, and company. Whatever you do, of course, you want to let the trend be your friend. And be especially careful during these times.